Ladies and gentlemen, fellow towel gangers, humans and other galactic beings, welcome to the most powerful skill of all skills. A skill so powerful that it borders on magic. This is David J.P. Phillips, and I'm here with you today to give you an insight into what I find the most powerful, most influential, most brilliant skill of every single skill that's out there. This skill should be learned by every single human being on this planet. It'll change your communication forever if you learn it. And the skill is, of course, storyteller. What we've been using for millions of years compared to all other forms of communication. Now, before we go ahead, I want to note out that, hey, we have the Silver Button Award on the wall. I am so happy and proud that you all contributed to that. Every single one of you watching, which have subscribed, put that on that wall. You put that there. You single you person there. Thank you for that. I love you for that. It is my absolute pleasure today to have the honor of analyzing and reacting to one of the greatest storytellers on YouTube. He will give us the insights we need to learn to become better storytellers. And it's none less than Olan Rogers. At least that's how I hope that you pronunciate his name. Maybe he'll tell a story about the public speaker, the ginger who made a story reaction video about him. I hope so.
I have a story for you. In high school, I drove a speed machine. This car shook so violently the moment you passed 30 miles per hour. I mean, it burned more oil than gas. I mean, the brakes sounded like a screeching pubescent Wookiee that got his fingers caught in a door.
What is he explaining? Is he explaining? You can really see it in front of you, this Lamborghini. The way he puts his emphasis into this story is amazing. The details, the comparisons. Wow.
What I am describing to you is a basic performance four-cylinder sedan, or as they call it on the street, a 1994 Toyota Corolla. This car.
If he's not selling cars, he's missing out. Who wouldn't buy that car after that description? And the key to him, the key to Olan, is that he truly believes in his story. And when you truly believe in your own story, that is when you transfer your story to the other person. So if you sit at a dinner table or if you're with your friends and you retell a story and you don't entirely believe in it, you're not entirely invested into the story, it won't transfer as well. So, number one, investment in your story. It's super important.
To 60 miles per hour in 8.6 seconds. Woo! But if you had my car, it took 4 years and a brand new car to get to 60. This car is a crucial detail.
Goes down in volume. Good trick, isn't it?
My hands are on the steering wheel. It's shaking.
Using gestures, using role play to show them that we're in the particular car. That's the second thing. The third thing is he's using sound effects.
Hands are on the steering wheel. It's shaking. It's burning oil, right? I can smell the vapors. And my friend is in the car with us.
Smell. Smell is the one particular sense that hits the olfactory part of your brain. It's the only one that is not connected to your cortex. It goes straight into your emotions. So stimulating senses by talking about smell, hearing, or visuals, or feelings, or sensations is core to good storytelling.
It was a normal intersection, okay? There was lights, there was cars passing, roof, until I hear a cat call. Yeah. So somebody was catcalling me and my friend. Probably more my friend, but us. I look into the rearview mirror.
Role playing. The way he holds his steering wheel, that's insane. Nobody holds a steering wheel like that. So he's making fun of it as well. Looks into the rear view mirror. We're so part of his story now.
And I see three ladies. Three ladies.
Three?
Monster truck, right? Probably like an F9000 or something like that. I was in a committed relationship at the time. I think they knew that. Because look at me.
Self-laughter. We've learned that one before.
It's of a guy that calls you after the date and says, "Hey, I had a great time. I just wanted to say goodnight."
Do you remember PewDiePie? The impossible prop? Using imaginary props?
I just wanted to say goodnight. And then you guys stay up, like all night.
Using the mysterious voice of Vsauce. Brilliant. Going down in volume. Sounding like something is super intriguing. Maybe it's not. The finger is bent. The finger is now bent in this way. Isn't that strange? It's insane. Have a look at this.
Food factoids and stuff. That's me, okay?
Claps his hand often.
Misconstrued my hey for a hello, ladies. Both or signs of greetings.
Using a lot of volume. Volume increases confidence, and in this case, when we had a look at Jacksepticeye, he kept screaming now and then, and that increases our attention. Like a boss! So he's doing two things to increase our attention. Boom, slaps his hand, and then hooray! Increases his voice and volume. Both those increases your attention, makes you not stop listening. You go like, yes, yes, I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm with you, yes! Wow! Whoa! Boom! Every clap, every single instance like that activates your instincts of fear. Only on a subtle level, though. Oh, I love this.
So when the light turns green, I'd start driving into my neighborhood, right? And that's when I noticed the cats were on the hunt. As I was approaching my house, I get this vision. If I stop at my house, they'll know where I live.
Look at that facial expression. He's brilliant at facial expressions. Oh my God!
I could be subjected to catcalls my whole life. I don't know how you ladies do it!
Register increase, reference to PewDiePie. PewDiePie! I don't know how you ladies do it! But he didn't go that high. Got more of a gravel voice. Let's listen to it again.
I don't know how you ladies do it! I'd just be walking outside my house, and all of a sudden, how you doing, sweet thing? How you doing, sweet thing? Come on with your bad self. Let me put a Skittle in that backpack.
I'm so freaking good.
I made it up, but it sounds very provocative.
Freaking good way of handling a mistake.
What's he doing? They were waiting for us to stop to collect those digits, right? They wanted those digits, but this wasn't math class, okay? This was PE.
Increasing size of face in the camera increases our cortisol levels, award you more attention.
Let me just draw you a map, okay, in my sketchbook, don't worry.
Using real props, not just invisible props.
And there's another down, right? I go down that, and then I take a left, I take a right, I hit the brakes, and then I accelerate, right? So you get this.
Yeah, no way you drew that now.
As I get out onto the main street, I start to come back into my neighborhood. And that's when.
This is absolute key. This is the most fundamental thing you can learn about storytelling. What he just said there. He keeps building anticipation. We never know what's going to happen the next 10 seconds. It's like, I saw that and this happened and she did this and that's when this happened and that's what's... Listen to this.
Onto the main street, I start to come back into my neighborhood. And that's when.
And that's when. And now we go like, yes, yes, what's happening?
It was like a leaf blowed a bunch of catnip right to them. I quickly speed up and I'm driving. And I notice that they turn to follow us again. I pass my house again. I hear my mom thinking, what are you doing, idiot?
Increasing dopamine. That is absolute core in any story. If you do not have dopamine in your story, you are done with. Now, to give you two quick examples of the difference of having dopamine and not having dopamine. Listen to this. This story, very short, does not have dopamine. The man woke up in the morning, put on his slippers, nightingale gown, walked to the door was open, walked into the hallway, looked into the bathroom, the boxer shorts were on the floor, started running down the hallway to the balcony and looked down. That has no dopamine. Listen to what happens when I add dopamine to it. The man woke up in the morning. Something was wrong. It was all silent. He put on his slippers, a bit worried. He put on his nightingale gown. He hurried towards his door. The door was open. He knew he'd locked it. Why was it open? He feared the worst. He walked out into the hallway. He looked into the bathroom. The boxer shorts were lying on the floor. He now knew what had happened. He started running down the corridor. He came to the balcony. He looked down into the pool, and there he could see the boy floating with his back up. Now, those are two exactly identical stories, but with one thing different. The one has dopamine, the other one doesn't. So when you create stories, you need to add those dopamine hooks. You need to use your voice to increase that anticipation. It is by definition the most important thing in storytelling, and this man is a master of it.
Whenever my dog Grizzly Bear would escape the backyard and he'd run like a friggin' cheetah, and I would have to chase him for hours and hours and hours, and he would come in here and I'd be running.
Runs like a freaking cheetah. He's constantly comparing things to something extreme that increases the humor of it and puts some great visually into it as well.
And then on the other side there's this lake that had snakes, right? Water moccasins. I hate them so much. Not because they're snakes, but because they're just named after watery shoes. It was a straightaway. I look in the mirror, they're still following us. Could also be because I took 2 Claritin Ds that day for my allergies. And maybe it cleared my mind. I don't know.
Volume decrease again.
But I see.
Facial expression, increase of face.
James Bond. I see the moment that he was being chased.
Using a visual comparison, instead of the cheetah, he's now using James Bond.
What is he gonna do? Why is he stopping the car?
Why is he whispering?
And the enemy flies on by, not knowing that James Bond is in a parking spot. Wow, it was genius. What could go wrong? Turns out everything can go wrong.
That's beautiful, that's contrast. What could go wrong? Apparently everything. Contrast is beautiful as well, increases attention.
I said it like I believed it, right? With like 100% conviction. And I hit the gas, right? Thinking that was the part of the maneuver, right? I thought I was gonna Tokyo drift into this cul-de-sac. My brakes were so bald that I did not Tokyo drift. I actually just accelerated into this curb right in front of this house. My car catapults, right? You know what? That's not a strong enough word. That is not a strong enough word. I'm gonna... Trebuchets.
He's always using these extreme words, which makes it so hilarious because they're like hyperbole or whatever he's doing.
Trebuchets into this person's yard. As I soar through the air, I knew. I start turning my car mid-air. I'm like, ah! No, because of stupidity and physics, into his open,
using repetitions to increase attention and effect.
open windows.
And volume increase and climax increase. Oh my god. I'm gonna leave that with you. The end is worth watching. Whenever you go on Netflix and you watch a TV series, it ends, doesn't it? In a way where you want to watch the next episode. What is that? That is dopamine. That is the cliffhanger. Where they stop you somewhere at the end so that you want to hear the rest. And oh my god, I want you to go to this man's channel and look at the Run Boy Run His story, have a look at the end of it and just enjoy. I've gone through all of his videos. My absolute favorites are An Odd Day to Die and A Sticky Situation. Have a look at those two as well. They are bound to put you into a great mood. When you want a new perspective on life, just go to his channel and have a look at that. Now let's summarize this. For you to become a great storyteller, number 1, believe in your story. Invest yourself in the story. Number 2, use volume changes. Whispering. Number 3, use extremes. Number 4, use invisible props and gestures, show them what's happening. Number 5, use your facial expressions to show what's happening in the story. Number 6, stimulate different kind of emotions or senses. Smell. The OG towel. Oh, it's so good. Stimulate senses like that. These, I would say, are core tips, but at the end of the day, the absolute most important tip of every single tip is dopamine. Add dopamine into your stories. You play stories in your brain constantly. You tell stories, hundreds of them every single day. What you've got to get good at is just transferring those stories from your brain to somebody else's brain. And the skills I just gave you are practically the only skills you need. The only thing you need to do now is start practicing. Now to end this all off, I just want to refer to the greatest story ever written, which comes from this t-shirt, The Hitchhiker's Guide of the Galaxy. It's brilliant, it's genius. Every single time I read it, my mind just opens up to an entirely new perspective. I think I've read it 20 times in my life. I've never read any book more times than that one. This, greatest story ever written. This guy could be the greatest storyteller I've ever seen. My friends, over and out.